The essence of the One, the incomprehensible nature of God in a man named Jesus, interlaces its nature with the nature of humanity. And so this first century man becomes the embodiment of the nature of the universe. And so Jesus becomes the Christ, the Son of God, the prototype for a new humanity. The light bearer that shined a small but undying light into the abyss of the human condition and the nature of the self that was inside him, the nature of his spirit, the interwoven nature of the human soul with the mind of God. God is in Christ, as Christ is in us. And with this reality, humanity is able to observe a world that can exist through incomprehensible love, peace, mercy, and grace. In Christ, there is the revelation of the path to all who wish to reconcile the soul to the essence of the One. And so we now have a choice to make. Humanity has the clear choice of the two paths that it can take in the finite time that our souls exist as matter in the universe. The true path is laid before us in the ministry and in the life of Christ. Christ calls us to love one another, to seek the incomprehensible nature of the source of love, to die to the paths of this world and become reborn, become new humans in the path of love. The path of love, however, comes into direct opposition with the path of the world. So the world, threatened by the loss of power, the end of greed, the liberty from the chains of oppression, became incensed at love, and therefore made the choice to torture, crucify, and kill the One. And as the world made that choice, Christ in turn made the choice to die for the path of love, so that we may see the power of love, destroy the oppressive nature of fear. In Christ's death, we saw the path of the world attempt to silence the path of love. However, even as the matter died, the soul of Christ, the incomprehensible nature of God, shined a blinding light into the nature of the world. And so Christ was resurrected in the hearts and minds of all who heard him. Death was not the final answer. In the nature of the world that tries to separate us from one another, that tries to oppress the full potential of humanity, became unmasked as the temples that it owned in the human heart crumbled on the day that love was hanged from a tree and left to die. Therefore, in the resurrection of the Christ, the few that heard became transfigured as they began to authentically live a life that followed the path of love. The old died to the sins of the world, and in that darkness, light breached the self-imposed gates that separated humanity from the nature of God. And humanity received the promise through the Spirit to become reborn into a new creation, a new humanity, a new Adam.